with the D.C. swamp, where a very angry and very confused, bewildered Nancy Pelosi continues inexplicably to cling on to her BS articles of impeachment. I have a message for Republican senators coming up. First, let's watch Nancy.
So are you willing to hold on to the articles indefinitely?
No, I'm not holding them indefinitely. I'll send them over when I'm ready. And that will probably be soon. I just, you said if you don't send them over, I'm going to pass the Mexico-U.S. Canada trade agreement. Okay. No, we want to see what they're willing to do and the manner in which they will do it. But we will not let them say, oh, this is just like Clinton, fair is fair. It's not. Documentation, witnesses, facts, truth. That's what they're afraid of.
Okay, anyway, Speaker in name only Pelosi has now been sitting on the articles for over 3 weeks. Now, these are the very same articles the Democrats, they were claiming this is urgent. The nation is at risk, time sensitive, a matter of imminent national concern. Pelosi rammed through the House in record time with only one fact witness. The rest were just, well, hearsay and opinion witnesses. Democrats, they didn't subpoena any of the key witnesses because, according to them, the country couldn't afford to wait for a court decision. Now, for weeks, they've been telling you, the American people, nothing has ever been more urgent, ever. They took it right up to Christmas, till they went on vacation. And the future of our country was at stake. Take a look.
I do expect that the Judiciary Committee is prepared to move very quickly.
The president, based on his past performance, will do everything he can to make it not a fair election. And that is part of what gives us the urgency to proceed with this impeachment.
The timing is really driven by the urgency, and that is
a national security issue.
Yes, a national security issue, an issue of our election integrity.
This is not a rush to judgment. It's a rush to justice.
Yeah, but then we got to go on vacation first, then we're going to take our time, and then we're going to second guess it. Okay. Pelosi has now paused this super important, super urgent process indefinitely. It is the kind of level of hypocrisy, outright dishonesty, and lying that is unconscionable. But it is very fitting. Democrats, with the help of course, their best friends in the media mob, state-run TV, the deep state, have been lying to you, to us, every step of the way. First, we have the compromised, corrupt, congenital liar, the pencil neck, I guess the president calls him, Adam Schiff, lying about the transcript of the call between the president and President Zelensky. Next, Schiff lied about the fake non-whistleblower hearsay whistleblower. Remember, he said his office, they would like to have contact. They'd like to hear from them. They had no contact with the individual, when, in fact, his office was, in fact, communicating with the hearsay whistleblower, even before he filed the bogus complaint. Next, Democrats lied about witness testimony. During the Schiff show, the first audition show, the secret closed-door witness rehearsal show, Democrats selectively were leaking only the misleading information in order to impugn the president and gain public favor. That's called propaganda. Ultimately, they passed 2 bogus articles with only one fact witness. One. That's it. Ambassador Sondland, whose testimony was exculpatory for the president. He wanted nothing, no quid, no pro, no quo, like Joe. I want nothing. The proceeding was a dishonest train wreck from the very beginning, to deceive the American people and lie to get the support of the American people. There was never any evidence. It was non-existent. Now, there is for quid pro quo Joe and zero experience Hunter. Well, you're not getting the billion unless you fire the prosecutor investigating my zero experience son. Yeah, the very thing they act so outraged about. There was no due process like Newt Gingrich afforded Bill Clinton and his attorneys in 98 and 9. No basic fairness, no high crimes, no misdemeanors, no bribery, no treason. One nebulous abuse of power charge, whatever that is. One totally made-up obstruction of Congress, because this president dared to do what all the presidents before him have done, and that is, when they can't get along in the executive and legislative branch, you can seek remedy. You can go to the court system. They settle those disputes. After all, they were in a rush. This was urgent. Now Pelosi has all the time in the world, apparently. Guess it's not as urgent as they said. Another lie. She's demanding the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, follow her strict instructions for how the Senate trial should be run. She wants him to call all the witnesses they didn't call, but yet they impeached them. They failed to get the subpoena. She also wants to ensure a fair trial. with total impartiality. Big problem there is her best friend or BFF in the Senate, Chucky Schumer, totally agrees. But in the 90s, when a Democrat was being impeached, Chuck was running on exonerating Clinton. 11 separate felonies Ken Starr identified. Take a look.
This is not a criminal trial, but this is something that the Founding Fathers decided to put in a body that was susceptible to the whims of politics. And also, it's not like a jury box in the sense that people will call us and lobby us. You don't have jurors called and lobbied and things like that. I mean, it's quite different than a jury.
Oh, that's it. Oh, he's a total hypocrite. Get the theme here? Hypocrites, liars, zero principles, no core values, selective, feigned moral outrage. And Chucky Schumer actually ran for the Senate on that promise to acquit President Clinton without any case being presented. And back then, the independent Starr report determined Clinton committed, he identified 11 specific impeachable offenses, including felonies. Chucky Schumer raged against the mere prospect of ever impeaching a U.S. president over lying and suborning perjury and perjury. Take a look.
If we vote articles of impeachment, I fear that we will be setting a precedent that could seriously weaken the office of the presidency, whether the president is removed from office or not. That we will be in danger of all too frequently investigating presidents and seeking to remove them from office. Unless a miracle occurs, we will take one of the most serious and rare actions that this body can assume and impeach the president against the overwhelming will of the American people. That now we are routinely using criminal accusations and scandal to win the political battles and ideological differences we cannot settle at the ballot box. History will show that we've lowered the bar on impeachment so much, we have broken the seal on this extreme penalty so cavalierly, that it will be used as a routine tool to fight political battles. My fear is that when a Republican wins the White House, Democrats will demand payback. There's no need to continue forward because there are certainly not two-thirds for impeachment. What we ought to be doing instead of this is doing what the American people want us to do.
And Chucky's opinions, of course, conveniently, magically evolve, but many of his Democratic colleagues in the Senate, they're growing pretty weary of the spectacle and the outrage of Nancy Pelosi, Speaker in name only, and her stall tactic and stunt. Majority Leader McConnell has consistently offered the same rules and procedures that the Senate approved for the trial of Bill Clinton, 100-0. And now top Democrats are asking Pelosi end the charade. They're demanding it. Even Senator Feinstein, fellow Californian, saying it's Pelosi's decision, but if they're serious and urgent, send them over. If it isn't, don't send it over. Democrats Doug Jones, Angus King, Joe Manchin, Chris Murphy, Richard Blumenthal, and Chris Coons and others all echoing Feinstein's ultimatum. Even one House member, Adam Smith, he called for Pelosi to stop stalling. Then he had to recant, probably after getting, well, beaten down in closed doors, smoke-filled rooms by friends of the Speaker. Look at this poll. A whopping 58% of Americans think Pelosi needs to send the articles over. That would be called due process and fundamental fairness. Of course, don't expect it tonight. Pelosi still desperately dragging this on, and President Trump, he's taking her to task. Pretty entertaining way as well. Take a look.
By the way, did you say I did nothing wrong? They don't even know what the hell is going on. In fact, it's so weak, she doesn't want to put in the articles. It's so weak. They're so pathetic. They're so pathetic.
Now, since claiming the gavel, every major action taken by Pelosi revolved around her party's deranged psychosis, desire to smear, slander, besmirch, and hurt Donald Trump. That's all they've done for 3 years. Nothing for we, you, the people. It's all been one big, continuous, nonstop, never-ending political stunt, lies, conspiracies, slander, besmirchment. The non-binding, unenforceable, meaningless war powers resolution, that's the latest example. Let me address all of you, though, in the U.S. Senate tonight. All of you Republican senators, you do not and should not ever lend any credibility to this despicable, corrupt shift show. Don't do it, because all you're doing is hurting the American people in the process. Let them do it. You don't be a part of it. Let the Democrats, they impeach the president. Your job is to run the trial, of course, with the Chief Justice presiding. Let them present their case. They impeached them. Let them tell you why. Now, I'd like to hear, they can bring in the one fact witness, but constitutionally, they impeach and they present their case to you. They say they have the evidence to impeach. Your constitutional role, you Republican senators, is the trial. The Chief Justice presides. The only and one fact witness, bring them in. Just one. Everyone else is an opinion, hearsay witness. Rules of evidence, federal rules of evidence don't allow hearsay evidence to be presented. Make them show you why they impeached Donald J. Trump. It is not your job, Republican senators, or your constitutional role to redo their sick, twisted, corrupt investigation with no due process. Now, after the House managers present the reasons, their case, why they impeached the president, bring in the one relevant fact witness that they used so he can repeat, Ambassador Sondland, what he said or read back, to the House, or just read back the testimony, and then you can vote. That's your job. You don't have to do their job. They impeached them. They're going to tell you why. They're going to present their case. It's not your job to fix their screw up. You Republican senators are weak and timid. If you give credibility to this repulsive, corrupt political stunt, you're as guilty as Schiff, Nadler, and Speaker in name only Pelosi. They impeached. Let them show you why. When they fail spectacularly, and they already have, and they will, this will end the madness. In other words, Republican senators, stand up for the United States Constitution. That is your role. That is your job.